During the volleyball season this past fall, our coach became furious with us after a really tough practice. Carrie was to dive, Sammy didn't set up Carly, and well, let's just say I cost the team a few miles of running. Since we were already in trouble, the ladies and I decided we would make a pit stop at 7-Eleven for a famed Slurpee run. I was the last one in line to pay, but as we were looking out the window, there she was. Coach Young was driving around looking for us. We hit the floor and started making some 007 moves to avoid being caught. I was fiercely sucking down my Slurpee amid all the commotion, and the next thing I knew, it hit me. Brain freeze. It was like it was a sign from above. Sheer punishment. But either way, there it was, like a knife in the forehead as I crouched on the floor of 7-Eleven. However, after a few seconds, it was gone, and we were on the road back to school. At one point or another, we have all experienced or been with someone who has suffered from this mind-numbing catastrophe. We don't want it to happen, and we sometimes take steps to avoid it, but it cannot always be evaded. Thus today, I am here to share with you what causes brain freeze, slurp down some of the mysteries surrounding them, numb our minds with brain freeze in the news, and finally, scoop up some ways to make these painful headaches go away quickly. After the incident this fall at 7-Eleven, some of the girls on the team started to mock me and make fun of my brain freeze moment. And being somewhat inquisitive, I decided it was time to do some research on brain freeze. What shocked me to discover is that it wasn't until 1994 when 7-Eleven, the maker of the Slurpee, trademarked the term brain freeze and defined it as an intense, stabbing headache-like pain that occurs after consuming something cold. But what is more staggering is the fact that only 30% of the entire population has experienced this phenomenon personally. Now, I know many of you out there are wondering what the actual causes of a brain freeze are. Luckily, the Brain Freeze page has the answer. It states that this pain is caused by the rapid cooling of the roof of the mouth, which is close to the sphenopalatine nerve. When this nerve gets cold, it fires off a danger signal that the entire head is about to become chilled, and warns the vascular system to start pumping more blood to the brain to keep it warm. Vessels open up, and the sudden inrush of warm blood causes a painful sensation, which lasts anywhere from 30 seconds to 2 minutes. I often get my brain freeze from Slurpees, but they can also come from ice cream and other cold foods, and they are much more common when the weather is warm outside than when it is cold. This suggests that a rate of temperature change is what can trigger a brain freeze. Now that you know what causes brain freeze, we can take a look at some of the mysteries surrounding them. One of the greatest mysteries in the medical field and in the Slurpee world is who is most susceptible to brain freeze. Actually, doctors have many theories on why they only affect certain people. Half the studies show that people who have a history of migraines are more likely to experience brain freeze. But in reverse, other studies reveal that people without a history of migraines are more likely to get brain freeze. Researchers feel that these inconsistencies are due to the differences in their participants. In one study, people were polled from a hospital population, and the other used student volunteers. Thus, the tests were deemed inconclusive and a mystery. Who knows, maybe one day I will become an expert and solve this mystery for myself. Another question surrounding brain freeze is, do brain freezes cause permanent damage? Well, a brain freeze does not actually freeze your brain, or any other part of your head for that matter. And the only damage done is a slap mark imprinted on your forehead, and it may interfere with your Slurpee drinking enjoyment for a few seconds. Another great shroud of mystery is, what causes brain freeze more? Slurpees or ice cream? Well, Matthew R. Evans revealed the answer to this question at a science exhibit in California. His studies showed that Slurpee brain freezes occur more frequently, last longer, and are more intense than other brain freezes. Perhaps it was Evans' findings that led to the anomaly concerning brain freezes in the news. Yes, brain freezes have made the headlines. In fact, in June of 2008, a man from Salina, Kansas blamed his car crash on a rather unique defense. He claimed that he lost control of his car after experiencing a brain freeze while driving. Although he was taken away by ambulance, his injuries sustained from the crash were coincidentally not head wounds. Here's another brain teaser for you that made the headlines. In 2002, an 8th grader, Maya Kaskarowski, had one of her very own brain freeze experiments published in the British Medical Journal. And Maya recruited 145 kids to take part in this ice cream eating session. Some of the kids ate their small amounts of ice cream in less than 5 seconds, while others consumed theirs more slowly. Approximately 13% of the slow eating group said brain freeze had occurred. More than twice as many of the fast eating group said they had experienced brain freeze. Maya concluded that a person is more likely to avoid getting brain freeze if they simply eat more slowly. The 8th grader even appeared on the Early Show to discuss her fascinating experiment. The Early Show's Harry Smith and Tracy Smith conducted an informal test using Maya's theory. Ironically, neither of these two media brainiacs experienced a brain freeze. Now that you have the scoop on brain freezes in the news and how they are created, here are some tips from the experts on how to make them go away as fast as possible. In order to liberate yourself from a brain freeze, you must reheat your palate, otherwise known as the roof of your mouth. Many people agree that the easiest way to do this is to press your tongue, or I like to use my thumb, against the roof of your mouth. You can also create a mask using your hands and placing them over your nose and mouth. Then breathe in and out to quickly warm up the area. You can also drink a warm glass of water, though that is not always handy when you're drinking a Slurpee. Some people say that you can lay your head to one side. I've never tried it, but it may work for you. The key is to try different things because not every method works for every person. Just because you may have experienced this agonizing pain doesn't mean you should give up drinking those delicious Slurpees. The pain only lasts for a few moments, and now that you know the causes, you can take some steps to avoid them. But if you do end up facing one of these throbbing headaches, you can simply use one of the techniques I've discussed today. So the next time I get cornered in 7-Eleven by my volleyball coach, or maybe my forensics coach, I'll know that this pain in my forehead is completely normal, and I'll suck it up and go back to practice. And for those of you out there who have never experienced this brain freeze, I have for you now a brain tease. If eating something cold gives you brain freeze, why doesn't eating something hot give you brain melt? I'll let you contemplate that one until next time.